Another episode of the pod continues. Today on the program, we are talking addictions. They are nebulous creatures. A lot of the times you want to deny that you've got one. You're in the midst of a thunderstorm, your emotions are everywhere. It's a tornado, thunderstorm, crazy analogy, and you're still in denial that you're actually being pulled by what's essentially an external force. Within the mind, it's sort of difficult to say what's internal or external, right? It's all you, it's all not you, etc. But point being is that a lot of the time you're not admitting to yourself that there is something terrorizing you and causing you a mix of pain and a potential reward of excitement around a certain behavior. Now, usually after you've imbibed, you regret it. You feel so bad because you've got it. You feel like you've been pushed over the edge by a foreign agent. You've taken a dive over a cliff, and once it's done, you're down there and you're like, what the hell? How am I here again? How many times have I done this? How many times am I going to let myself down? And the answer to the problem is, essentially, you want to live a boring life. It's not necessarily going to be boring, but at the time, right before the temptation, throughout the temptation, before we're using the word imbibed, you're just feeling that you can either do this really exciting thing, or you can just be boring and continue your same trend of emotion that you've been feeling. And the key to life is really to continue on with the same trend. Is to think, I could have a very exciting following time, but I'm not. I'm just gonna do what I'm doing, and it's painful a lot of the time, especially if you've got mental issues, or we've all got mental issues, even if people who don't think they have any. Life is you can only be statistically normal, but if you take into account really the experience we're having, I don't want to get too hippie about it, but life will throw feelings of strangeness at you in the most normal seeming circumstances. But all I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. I do know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just keep going with what you're feeling. Things are going to change for the better. You're going to see improvements. Things are going to change. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the day after tomorrow, but if you keep on the road and you keep accomplishing goals on the boring road, your life you're going to be so proud of yourself, and the feeling of pride, which stacks on eventually and compounds over the long term, is going to outweigh that feeling of excitement. It is. It's just a matter of time and believing in yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people are traumatized. We're all traumatized, but a lot of people are extra traumatized from their childhoods, and they can't resist. Because they feel very, very bad, right? Because I'm going to stop trying to say cause. Because I'm trying to sound more bookish, I guess. Because they just feel incredibly bad now, and they're fidgety, and there's no impulse control. It's kind of snatch scenario full of cortisol. You're just stressed and you're snatching whatever nice yummy reward you can get, and they just go for it. And we admire people who don't do that. We admire people who stay the course. That's what every documentary of any great person kind of shows, well, of any positive, great person who's made something good out of themselves. You know, all the boxers, all of these athletes, scientists, anyone who's done something great, you know, they just have the focus, they get their goals accomplished, and addictions can't take the forefront of that. Otherwise, the goals don't get accomplished. I mean, and it's not to say it's like you shouldn't have any addictions, because that's impossible. Your brain is a big cocktail of hormones, chemicals, and everything is in essence an addiction. Every mannerism you've got has an addictive quality to it. Millions of subconscious addictions create the person they call you. But it's a different story when, damn, how would you define it? Negative addiction. Well, an addiction that really disturbs you from your goals. An addiction that cancels out your goals, basically. So I don't want to name any particular. Okay, here's one I'll name. Gambling. How does it benefit you in the long run? You can look it up on the net. It's common knowledge. You don't even need to look it up. What am I talking about? You'll always lose more than you win. And when you speak to gamblers about it, most reasonable people will agree with you that they do it for the excitement. It's sort of in a somber tone, but it's just a common piece of knowledge that it's done for the excitement rather than the wins. Now you can think it to yourself on that night, like, I'm going to win. But it's about the excitement. You go and you feel that rush. But the problem is that the rush, you've got to pay for it in all these different ways. So many different ways. You feel the rush, and a lot of the times your family has to pay for it, and then you can't stop. It becomes this game of, oh, just tonight, and it's always tonight. That's the thing. It's always tonight. Tonight is always tonight. And what you're going to do tonight is built of the tonights you've had in the past. So if you imbibe, it makes you more likely to imbibe in the future. It sounds stressful, and stress can make you feel even more like going towards that. But in my experience, if you just relax and you replace the pleasantness of the imagination / fantasy you have about the addiction with a more negative image, and that's a skill, you get better at that over time. If you just replace that, so I did that with smoking. I used to smoke pouches of cigarettes a day. By pouches, I'm not even kidding. In a drinking night, I don't drink anymore either. It just all used to go up and smoke, no pun intended, a lot. I was a massive smoker. Like, pack a day had nothing on me. But that's what a book called Easy Way to Stop Smoking taught me, is not to associate the cigarette with something good, because you're not missing out on anything good. And that's the truth of it. You have a feeling of excitement, but what you get straight away is regrettable. You don't want it. You just don't want it. But anyway, that was my little spiel on addictions. See y'all next time.